Well then, that's not ominous at all. Alright, hey guys, Fiddle Ferret here, and welcome back to a new, well, I can't say visual novel now, can I? Because I believe technically this is a Kinetic novel. So this is Sweetest Monster. So this is from a developer I followed, and I've played some of their other games that I really enjoyed. And I've heard some really interesting things about this game in particular. So I was like, you know what? It's supposed to be really short. I haven't really done much recording of some games in a while. So we're going to go ahead and play this one. Supposedly it's not too long. It wasn't too much on Steam. So we're going to go ahead and check it out. Supposedly it's a bit dark or creep. I don't know. There's something that everyone seems to just be like... There's a lot of weirdness surrounding this game, so I'm interested to see what we're in for. So we'll go ahead and start a new game. Probably a lot different than some of the other games I played recently, for sure. I remember when Great Aunt Clarence was still alive, she had a black cat called Belle. Now, that isn't strictly true. Great Aunt Clarence didn't just have one cat over her long life. She had several. Maybe it's because she never had any children, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, and diagnosing somebody after their death seems rather callous of me. Great Aunt Clarence always loved cats. After the death of Great Uncle Albert, however, she began to dote on them more and more. She would sit them on her lap and talk with them, and she looked at them so intensely you would have thought she was waiting for a reply. It was kind of sad, now that I think about it. I didn't find it sad when I was little, though. I thought it was scary. I never liked going to see Great Aunt Clarence. She would sit in her armchair, bent double, back hunched like a Emphasis bell. Ring from the Victor Hughes famous oh, okay. Stroking her cats with her withered, ropey hands. I guess she was your archetypical crazy cat lady. At her lowest point, she had 6 of the things, shedding hair around the house and dragging dead birds across the welcome mat in the kitchen. I don't remember much about her cats. I mean, they're just cats. You've seen one cat, you've seen them all, right? But Belle was different. I remember Belle. Hello, kitty. I'm so nervous. The tone of this visual novel is very strange so far. Belle was a black cat. Proud and stately, her eyes greener than anything I'd ever seen before. She disliked people in general and would hiss and spit whenever unwanted fingers strayed too near to her glossy coat. She hissed at me, at mother, at father, and she definitely hissed at Great Aunt Clarence. When she was truly enraged, Belle would even try and scratch us. I can still remember how it felt when Belle's claws raked across the backs of my hands. I can still remember the ugly red welts she caused. She drew blood on more than one occasion. My mother and father were upset, but Great Aunt Clarence simply tutted and said, "Well, what can you do?" My parents, as to be expected, were not very happy about this laissez-faire response. As a result, they stopped visiting her for several weeks. They couldn't hold out for long, though. My mother probably felt guilty for storming out of her house like that, even though the welfare of her only son was at stake. But not really. I mean, I'm still alive and kicking, which is more than can be said for Great Aunt Clarence. Belle's violent assaults didn't leave any lasting scars. Not physically. Mentally, I'm also doing fine, though I did become a primary school teacher, so you might think otherwise. But those scratches were hardly the worst things Belle did to me. I remember I was playing with a model aeroplane. It wasn't anything special, certainly not electronic. All I could do was throw it, like a glorified frisbee. but I enjoyed it all the same. It was running through Great Aunt Clarence's overgrown jungle of a back garden, all uncut grass that reached past the ankles and old dead apple trees that hadn't given any apples for years and years when I noticed it. Great Aunt Clarence's garden was rather big. Was big, I should say, because the garden doesn't belong to her anymore. It had apple trees, like I said, but it also had a vegetable garden. A disused pen where Great Uncle Albert used to keep chickens, and a lake. And a lake? That's odd. A rather large lake lined with willow trees, like something from a picture book. Like the lake in the beginning of Alice in Wonderland. Maybe I was channeling Alice myself that day, though I didn't tumble into Wonderland searching for white rabbits. Instead, I, quite foolishly looking back on it, fell headfirst into the lake while trying to save the life of a black cat. I heard a yowl and a loud splash and turned, my plane forgotten. It landed on the ground and bounced a couple times, but I hardly noticed. I was too busy staring out at the lake, staring at Belle. The old saying states cats have 9 lives, but I wasn't naive enough to believe that, even at the age of 6. I'd already been to Great Uncle Albert's funeral, so I knew that people died. They stayed in the ground and didn't come back up again. Belle did not have 9 lives. She only had 1 life, and it was precious. Belle had scratched me only a few months prior, and I didn't particularly like her, but I didn't want her to drown. That was why I decided to rescue her. I meant well, but as it soon transpired, this was an incredibly stupid idea for several reasons. For one thing, I could not swim. For another, Belle could. Interesting. I can't really remember what happened after that. This is where my memory goes foggy. All I really rely on is hearsay from my parents and reports from the doctors. They told me I almost drowned. I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel or anything, or if I did, I don't remember it. But there is something I do remember from that ordeal, splashing helplessly in the icy cold lake in Aunt Clarence's garden. I remember watching slowly drowning as Belle pulled herself out of the lake right before my eyes, rendering my rescue attempt null and void. Now, I'm just guessing, but I imagine the last thought I had, right before I swallowed a mouthful of fetid water and lost consciousness, was, "You really are an idiot." More than 30 years later, I don't think I've changed all that much. Just ask my wife, Sally. Okay. I don't know where this is going. May 11th, Tuesday. Okay. Hey, Sally. She's cute enough. She doesn't look very happy, though. Sally doesn't like Arabella Waite, and I can't say I blame her. I don't like Arabella Waite all that much either. That being the case, it's strange Sally seems to be laboring under entirely misguided... Oh, okay. That I might have an affair with her. Oh, Sally. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've voiced a visual novel. I actually have to do voices, don't I? I wish I had better voices, but I don't. Why are you always... Why did you sound like such a bitch? Why are you always so kind to that awful woman, Robin? I can't stand her. The two of us are sitting together in the living room, the curtains drawn, the TV buzzing in the background like a particularly lackadaisical swarm of bees. I'm not sure what we're supposed to be watching because I haven't been paying any attention. I think it's some kind of crime drama. That would explain the stiff, lifeless corpse of a teenage girl sprawled across the TV screen, her hair wringing wet. Crime dramas have a strange fixation with dead girls, particularly drowned dead girls. Maybe they think it's edgy. Maybe they think it's sexy. The what is that word? I don't know. Pre-something sure seem to think so, given their unhealthy obsession with poor Ophelia. I can't really comment on the sexiness, or otherwise, of this dead girl. She reminds me too much of Melly. I know you can't stand her, Sal, but her money is worth just as much as anybody else's. Just little counts and all that. Don't regurgitate advertising jingle to me, Robin. Even if they're catchy? Even so. I don't think Sally's watching the TV either. She's glaring at the wall, squeezing a cushion so tightly it would scream if it could. Why did she have to come and pick Annetta? And Eddie? Up so early. She knows her piano lessons don't finish until 5:30. I keep stumbling over some of these phrases because this is very much like a British writing style, and it's so the writing style has been really good so far, and I actually really like it, but it's throwing me off just a little bit. Maybe she's lonely. So she decides to invade our home and invite herself in for coffee. Well, I guess I was the one who invited her in for coffee, but I didn't really have a choice. You could have told her to leave. I couldn't, Sal. Not when she'd come all this way. I'd have felt bad. So you'd feel bad about inconveniencing? I was like, wow. Man, I'm really struggling with these names. Arabella sobbing white, but you don't have any sympathy for me. I had to listen to her banging on about her divorce for half an hour. I felt like I was going to go mad. Ouch, I'm sorry about that, Sally Pally. I tried to give Sally a sympathetic look, but I'm not sure how much of an effect it's having. Sally isn't even looking at me. She's too busy seething. Man, look at that face, though. That is just tight lip, up the lip, and oh man, she is not a happy camper. If you really were sorry, you wouldn't have dumped her on me like that. I'm a translator, not a professional entertainer. I know, I'm sorry about that, Sal. I really am. I don't know what to do. I could hardly cut Athena's piano lessons short because her mother turned up too early. I bet you did it on purpose, because you're always so nice to her, Robin. You're too soft. I don't like the way Sal says nice. It sounds accusatory, like she's trying to frame me for a crime I haven't committed. It is true that Arabella White is fairly attractive as far as single mothers go, but she is also unarguably Arabella White. Arabella White's daughter, Annetta, is a student at the school I work at. She's been having piano lessons with me for 2 years. My relationship with the charming Madam White, however, is strictly one of business. I hardly ever talk to her. Well, Arabella White tries to talk to me. I go along with it because that's more polite than ignoring her, as Sally would prefer, but I don't try to encourage conversation. Why would I? If I'm being brutally honest, I think Arabella White is something of a snob, and she's boring with it. I don't know why she gave her daughter such a fancy French name. Arabella White doesn't have a single French bone in her body. Though Arabella White's getting divorced, she's been in the process of getting divorced for more than 7 months now, I feel sorrier for Annetta than for her. I think Annetta's the kind of 9-year-old who's been forced to grow up far, far too quickly. She's less of a daughter to her mother than a constant live-in counselor. No wonder she's always so quiet during her piano lessons. I have to be nice to her, Sal. She's a paying customer. She's going through a tough time. I know she's going through a tough time. I know all about that, Robin, because she told me in detail. She told me more than I want to know. Well, Sally sniffs. If the way she looks at you is anything to go by, I have no doubts as to why her last husband packed his bags. So, if we're calling Miss Arabella White a snob, look at my wife's face right now. If that doesn't say snob, I don't know what does. You're being a tad judgmental, don't you think? I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying it like it is. Of course you are. It's always been far too friendly with you. Perhaps, but it's not like I return her feelings, whatever they might be. I just want to help Annetta pass her grade 4 piano exam. And that's why you went out for coffee with Arabella last week, is it? Because you wanted to help Annetta? I sigh heavily. So we're back to this again, are we? I thought we'd exhausted this topic last night. We certainly went over it enough times. I hate the woman at that ridiculous Keep Fit club Sally goes to. I swear, they don't even try to lose weight. From what I'd gathered, they meet up every Monday solely so they can gossip. Miss Harris is the worst. I know I was in hot water the moment I saw her enter Costa last Saturday, trying to console a crying Arbella. It's not Arabella, it's just Arbella. Arabella White over a cappuccino. I already told you, Sal. I didn't want to go for coffee with her. We just bumped into each other and I suggested it, that's all. I mean, that's a bit odd. I can understand where your wife wouldn't be super happy about that. But you didn't need to agree with her. No, I didn't, but I think she needs somebody. Oh, she invited us? Okay, well, that's a little different. Somebody to talk to. The divorce must be pretty hard. She started crying, Sal. And I guess she needs a strong, handsome, already married, let me add, knight to sweep her off her feet. Come off it. What was I supposed to do? My heart isn't made of steel. But what about me, Robin? How do you think that made me feel? I wasn't thinking about you at the time, to be quite honest. I was more concerned about Arabella White smearing her mascara, which definitely was not waterproof no matter what she said down the front of my shirt. So you're telling me you gave her a hug too? Shit, I didn't mean to let that one slip. I'm such a smooth talker. Well, I think she might have hugged me first. It wasn't a hug, not really. She was just trying to hide her face. Like I said, she was crying so much her makeup had started to run. Because hugged by her was like being embraced by a desperate clown. It was an interesting experience, but not one I'm keen to relive anytime soon. Jesus Christ! I can't believe it! First you invite her out for coffee, and now you're telling me you've been letting her cry on your chest out in public? Why did she need to emphasize that out in public part? Isn't that better than embracing her in private? I don't understand this woman. Look, Sal, I know it sounds kinda bad, but it really wasn't like that. I'm not interested in her. Really, I'm not. Even if she does wear all those low-cut shirts. That isn't the part that upsets me the most, Robin. That's the real issue here. Damn, Sally sounds mad enough as it is, and this isn't the real issue? I dread to think what that might be. I'm disappointed in you. You said you were going to go out with me and Melly last Saturday. You promised. Ah, of course. Melly, I knew I was forgetting something. It's a good thing that something is only my daughter. Oh, so we have a daughter. Okay, fair enough. Look, I know what I said. I really did mean it. I just got distracted, that's all. Too busy consoling poor Arabella, were we? That isn't it, Sally. I don't know what to do. It wasn't only last week either. You've been promising Melly you'll have a day off with her for almost a month, and you still haven't. Oh, sorry, hiccup. Just what is so pressing that you can't put one measly day aside for your daughter? I know it's shoddy behavior. I really am sorry. I've just been busy. Busy? How busy can you be? You're a music teacher in primary school. It's hardly rocket science. It's not science at all. It's not even a proper subject. Oh, now Sally's done it. I love her and all. I kind of have to since she's my wife. But I'm tired of hearing this shit about my job day in and day out. Even Arabella Bleeding White got on my case about it last Saturday in Costa, in between all our tears. Oh, I envy you, Robin, working at a primary school. Oh, doing music too. It must be so relaxing making a living out of something you're passionate about. Toiling away in an office all these years has really started to grind me down. I guess you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Yeah, right. Because trying to stop a class of 5-year-olds hitting each other over the heads with their recorders is so much fun. I'm living the dream here, folks. For your information, Sally, music is a proper subject, and my job is a proper job. It's more proper than yours. At least I actually leave the house. Oh shit, son! This argument is getting really heated. I'm getting kind of into it, if I'm honest. Sally stares at me, her face pale as death mask. What was that, Robin? What did you just say? I know I've gone too far, but I can't hold back now. It's already too late. In for a penny, in for the pound. See, I don't know that saying because I'm not British. I said my job is more proper than yours. Unlike you, I can't sit on my backside all day with a TV on in the background. How dare you say that to me? Just because I work from home, it doesn't mean my job is any less real than yours. Besides, music is nothing more than a hobby. It's not important, not in the grand scheme of things. Music is necessary, no matter what you say. Being able to play an instrument is an important life skill. And that's why you stopped trying to teach Melly, is it? Because it's such an important life skill. I stopped for Melly's sake. She hated it. I just don't think the piano was for her. I have to offer students to teach, so you'll teach them but not Melly, not our daughter. I wonder why. I'm sure the money has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Sally. Don't say Sally to me. You're in the wrong and you know it. That's why you've gone quiet. It's because you know you've done something you should feel guilty about. Sally looks at me with undisguised disgust. She might as well be examining a cockroach. I feel just as welcome. I'm going to sleep. Don't even think about coming to the bedroom tonight. I don't want to see your face. My bedroom? What's with that possessive? I did pay for half the house. Nice selective memory there, Sal. With that, Sally storms upstairs, her messy bun bouncing. Well, damn. This frickin' story has gotten off with a bang, if I do say so myself. I watch as she ascends, slamming one foot after another with more force than necessary. I can't see her face, but her posture makes her feelings more than evident. Don't follow me. If you do, you're dead. I sigh, rubbing the back of my neck with one hand. Don't worry about that, Sal. I wasn't planning on it. I might have almost drowned when I was a kid, but I'm not suicidal. Damn. It's brutal. There's a river a short walk away from my house. Oh, sorry, not my house. Mine and Sally's. It would be a little hypocritical of me to call Sally out for laying single-handed claim to our bedroom and then do the same thing about our home, wouldn't it? Let me try that again. There's a river a short walk away from our house, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. The river isn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. Hardly something to wax poetic over. Even the greatest of romantics would struggle to say anything nice about it. The river is a dark brown, choked with mud and dirt, and people use it as a kind of comical dust bin, ignoring the real bins that exist for that very purpose. It's usually filled with broken beer bottles, carrier bags from the nearby supermarket, and fast food containers. It's not a pleasant sight. Once I saw a sofa soaking in there, unmoved by the torrents of muddy water that rushed onto it. It isn't rare to see shopping trolleys. Oh, how British. Basking in the murky depths. Shallows, more like. Their motionless wheels aloft in the air. I don't pity the guys who have to dulge all that shit back out of the water. It must be a rotten job, far worse than mine. Most people, my wife included, look vaguely amused when I tell them I teach music in the primary school. So you play around with tambourines and cassettes all day. But at least being a teacher is a respectable job. Semi-respectable. It's proper. Not like lake dredgers or whatever their official name is. Do they even have an official name? At any rate, though, this river is hardly a picturesque point of local interest. More like an eyesore. Everybody says. I still like it. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the sound of the rushing water. It's strange that I like the river so much, since I almost drowned in my youth, but that's never really bothered me. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, as I always do when I'm feeling unsettled, which has been more and more frequently as of late, I find myself standing on that bridge, overlooking the surface of the river. It's a dark night, and the water looks brown, as it usually does. It's black like ink, the skeleton of a shopping trolley sinking out of the muddy banks. There would be a shopping trolley. There always is, I suppose. It's comforting in a way. Some things never change. Not like my relationship with Sally. That's changed a hell of a lot. It happened so gradually, too. I didn't even realize how much it had deteriorated until what? I don't want to say until it was too late, because that sounds horribly maudlin, but I sigh, resting my hands against the wrought iron railings. The iron is cold, chilling by the bite of the wind, and my fingers spasm. If I stayed here for too long, I'm going to catch cold. I know that, but I can't bring myself to move. I continue to stand there, frozen, staring into the river. The water parts and it hits the shopping trolley, swirling around in circles. I did just feel a spot of moisture on my head. The rain starts to fall from the sky in a fine mist, light and ephemeral. Well, not that ephemeral. I'm still getting wet. I should go. I've dallied here long enough. Lost in my self-indulged thoughts, Sally might be getting worried. Then again, maybe not. I wonder. If I slipped and fell over the guardrail, would Sally mind? Would Melly? Maybe Arabella White would. But I don't care what she thinks. Sally's right. I haven't been spending enough time with Melly. I only ever see her at dinner, when we sit together at the table, lost in our own respective silences. Happy families. She doesn't talk to me, doesn't even look at me. I'm not sure why I called her Melly. It's a big name to live up to, with a lot of unspoken hopes and dreams mixed in. That was my first mistake. I turn, ready to rake my weary way back home when... Guess who? My vision is suddenly obscured by a darkness, even darker than that of the night sky. Breath glides across my ear, and laughter, obviously female, dances around me. There is something pressed against my back, hands held over my eyes. They're doing that childish game you can see kids participate in the playground. I never thought I'd be on the receiving end of such a gesture. Who is it? How many young girls do I know? Maybe it's one of my students? Miss Cartwright's errant? Enid, perhaps? But Enid would never do something like this. She's far too shy. Not as shy as Melly, but shy enough. What about my other students then? Laura? Jessica? Cotty? Kata? No, no. No again. Laura is quite a chatterbox, but she'd never be this informal with me. Jessica spends most of her piano lessons staring up at the ceiling. Kata's family is from Poland, and though she's fluent in English, she has quite a strong accent. It isn't those girls. Why would it be? I'm not that close to any of my students. Who else would it be then? I think you've got the wrong person. Can you let go of me, please? I expect a sudden intake of breath, a frantic step backwards, a wide-eyed apology. But it never comes. The girl only giggles. Her hands remain stubbornly in place, unmoved. Oh no, I definitely don't. I know it's you. I know it was you even if my eyes were pecked out by crows. Crows? If we really do know each other, could you at least let me see your face so I can confirm it? But that's no fun. I want you to guess. I've always been bad at guessing games. Ugh, suit yourself. But that's so boring. The girl steps back, drawing her hands away from my eyes. I turn. The wind and the rain stings my cheeks, and frown. I don't know what I'm expecting. For some reason, my heart is beating just a little louder than usual. Adrenaline? It isn't every day you encounter a mysterious young girl on the bridge in the dark. The situation sounds like something from a novel. What kind of novel? I haven't decided yet. I'll make my mind up when I see her face. If she has long black hair and pale skin, it's probably a horror story. If she has blonde hair and blue eyes, maybe a romance. How telling is this? If she has black hair and pale skin, it's probably a horror story. But as it turns out, the mysterious girl is a mixture of both. Wow, so is that just like really, really heavy foreshadowing? It's a horror romance story. I get it. She's short, far shorter than me. Well, I knew that already, since I could see her breath against the base of my neck when she held her hands against my eyes. But I still don't know who she is, at least I don't think I do. There's something vaguely familiar about her face. The shape of her nose, the arch of her eyebrows. But those points are nebulous, difficult to pin down with any kind of clarity. Her hair is dark, cut into a neat bob. Her eyes are bright green, and a small, mischievous smile plays across her eyes, like a cat that's just caught a mouse. Would that make me the mouse? Alright. I think we're going to stop there. I think we can all see where this is going. This is really well written so far, so I can't wait to get back into this. But anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this first episode, but we're going to step away for now and definitely be back with another episode tomorrow. Anyway, guys, I've been Fiddle Ferret, and I'll see you back on the prowl next time.